Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another video. Today we have our Week 5 match against the 13th guy. And I apologize beforehand if my voice sounds a little um, messed up. I'm dealing with a bit of congestion right now. That good spring allergy season is hitting me. So a little stopped up, having some upper respiratory congestion too. So I probably sound terrible. I know I sound terrible, should I say. So do forgive me for that. But we're back again, like I said, with another week of the SADL Season 3 and our Week 5 match against the 13th guy, who has a very, very stacked team. One of the better teams that was drafted this season by far. It's a very scary team. A lot of hard hitters, a lot of strength, speed, a lot of versatility. A very well-rounded team. So it's definitely a tough match for me to plan for, and I wasn't exactly sure what my initial strategy was going to be going into it. But I did cook up some stuff that I thought would give me a good chance. So we'll get into that team review here very shortly. So here's the team that I went with this week. I decided that screens would be really good in my opponent's team due to the heavy, uh, like offensive, just how offensive their team is, how strong things like Curum, Greninja, um, even Deoxys, Raikou, stuff like that. Urshifu's a little harder to deal with screens because Wicked Blow being able to crit will bypass the screens, but being able to limit its other forms of damage is also nice. Whether it wants to close combat or use like a not stab move, coverage move, something along those lines. Also, being able to negate a potential sucker punch is good as well. I knew it was going to be a difficult Pokemon for me to deal with defensively. Um, but I decided to run the screens just to deal with the other threats on my opponent's team. So we went with a screens Dragapult just because I felt like it was the Mon that offensively could be the most limited against my opponent. Um, I was trying to run a few different sets to see what would work, and I decided, nah, I think screens Dragapult is going to be the way to go. So we're running the Light Clay with the Light Screen and the Reflect. Went Will-O-Wisp. Could have potentially went Thunder Wave here as well as a status move to help limit my opponent as much as possible. But I went with Will-O-Wisp, just trying to catch like the Urshifu or something on the switch, as well as get chip damage on other Pokemon. And then you turn in the last slot so just that we can pivot out. Um, our spread is simple. We're just faster than Greninja, I believe. Um, Max HP, and then I just kind of split the bulk up evenly. Just kind of be bulky as possible. It's just a support mon, plain and simple. Just meant to get screens up and just kind of disrupt my opponent's team. Curse Body for the ability to. That way we can disable, like, Urshifu Wicked Blow. Something that's choice locked, especially being able to disable it is huge. So that was the plan with this set. And then we have our Mega Glade, and Mega Glade was great into my opponent's team. Coverage is really good. My opponent's team is kind of fighting weak. Mega Venusaur being psychic weak was a huge plus. Then we run triple axle in the last slot, or our last attacking move, triple axle, mainly for the Togekiss. And then Swords Dance. If we can get a chance to set up, once again, this is meant to be behind screens. I ran Drain Punch over close combat, so that way I wasn't weakening myself. If I can get behind screens, get an SD up, I can recover some health, and I'm not weakening myself with close combat drops. That was sort of the plan with this set. Like I said, I thought Glade was really, really good into my opponent's team. And then we have our Tapu Koko. This is a really cool set I decided to come up with. Electric Seed, Calm Mind. Basically, come in on Electric Surge, pop my seed, Calm Mind up, and after one Calm Mind, I'm at like 80 base power on Sword Power, which is really strong. And depending on my opponent's sets, like Venusaur, I think after two Calm Minds was like pretty much guaranteed O code with like max HP and a little bit of special defense. Um, Dazzling Gleam, Fairy types hit my opponent's team pretty hard as well. So I knew that was a good bring. And then obviously Roost to say bulky. Once again, getting behind screens, getting that +1 defense, the +1 special, or plus defense, +1 special, +1 defense, and then all the special defense boosts plus screens make it really a hard mon to bring down. and being faster than everything on my opponent's team, but Deoxys speed obviously is also really good. Um, I also realized this Tapu Koko was not named. I guess it wasn't named going into the game either, which sucks, but oh well. Um, I thought about maybe running a bulkier set on Coco, but I decided just to be fast. So if I get into a spot late game where I kind of need to clean up, can't really like set up on my opponent, I would just be fast enough to kind of win the match. You don't want to be slower and taking a bunch of hits when you can just click like Dazzling Gleam 3 times and win. And then we have our Ferrothorn, trusty Ferrothorn, coming like always. Great special defensive check for mons like Kyurem, Raikou. Especially Raikou doesn't have like Aura Spear. Um, Greninja, like a great way to kind of check like Battle Bond Grin, for example. Mons like that. Just check them as good as possible. Sorry if you guys just heard that, by the way. I just took a sip of something to drink because all this stuff in my chest and my throat is not good. But yeah, just a good special defensive check to a lot of my opponent's team. He has a lot of really big special threats. Same thing with like Deoxys speed, for example. So being able to check those is nice. Gyro ball to hit faster opponents. Deoxys speed, like I just said, hits Kyurem super effectively. Can hit Greninja super hard, even though it's resisted. Also is going to hit something like Togekiss really hard. Knockoff, getting rid of items is always good, especially because we don't have knockoff on our Gallade. Leech Seed for some solid recovery with the leftovers, and then Spikes because my opponent's team is a little Spikes weak. Being able to get as much damage, like passive damage on Urshifu and on Iron Treads, who would want to come in and spin those away, is obviously really nice. Redthorn also did really well in Iron Treads, too, is another reason why I brought it as well. Next, we have our Gligar, and basically Gligar was really the only Pokemon that stood a chance against Urshifu. Um, I think like it has to be like max attack banned. I think to be able to 2-hit KO Gligar with max defense and Eviolite. So I knew that if you ran like a scarf set or wasn't adamant or maybe was like dark glasses or something like that, I would be able to deal with the Urshifu better. Obviously, bulk up um, is always a problem. Like setup is always a problem. So we have to kind of watch out for that. But we have ways to play around that. I just wanted to have something that could switch in a pinch, and so obviously Gligar was that mon. Earthquake, Roost, Defog, U-turn, very basic set. We have our hazard removal. My opponent has great hazard setters with Deoxys speed and treads. U-turn so we can pivot. Roost so we can stay healthy. Earthquake for stab. Very simple set. Um, Only really fears Ice Punch from Urshifu, and if it has that, then like hey, that's great prep. That's what my opponent needs to have to go against my team. So, and then our last mon was going to be our Florges. This was meant to be our big Togekiss check, which is why it is running the Covert Cloak. Basically, I have a pretty good Togekiss check with Coco, but I didn't want to have to rely on it, especially if it's going to be more offensive. So I went with this set running max defense to give us a better chance against things like Urshifu. Um, resist it as much as possible. We have a huge amount of special defense. Uninvested 344 is really good. Moonblast, Psychic Noise, obviously for the Venusaur, kind of wear it down. Moonblast, once again, Fairy Stab, really good in my opponent's team. Sent this to stay healthy, and Heal Bell to sort of get rid of potential paralysis spam coming from that Togekiss as well, and also the paralysis on us, so that way we can't be para flinched. Basically, a way to try to 1v1 Togekiss, especially with screens up. And then we are just fast enough to be faster than min speed Togekiss as well. So that was a team we decided to run a little offensive, a little bulky. You get two really strong setup mons, and you have some defensive mons to pivot around. Um, it honestly felt like this team was going to be more offensive, but the more I thought about the way that like just how good Gallade and Coco were into my opponent, I thought that was good enough, and just kind of pivot around, weaken my opponent's team, and then set up with one of these two would be a really easy way to beat my opponent. So that was my team and my strategy going into this week, and then we're going to look at the match and see how that turned out. So, all right, here we are, guys, with the match. Quick look at my opponent's team. No Venusaur, no Greninja. Was a little surprised with that. I thought Venu was pretty good in my team, even though I do have strong psychic damage and do have some flying damage with Moltres. So we are able to kind of beat it. I thought it checked things like Coco, Florges, some Polt sets very well. It's a very fat Pokemon that's hard to break for a lot of my mons. And then Greninja I kind of just thought because it's faster than a decent chunk of my team. Obviously not faster than Coco and Polt, but I thought maybe it was going to come great coverage. Like I said, I think a Battle Bond set would have worked pretty well into my team, but we don't see those. I did not expect Raikou. Raikou was one of the mons I really didn't expect to come. I thought Togekiss was going to have a good chance of coming, and then the other four were pretty solid mons as well. Um, really, the only mon that I'm not surprised didn't come was Golisopod, just because it just wasn't great, and my team gets punished by gets punished by things like Ferrothorn, really. Even Moltres to a degree, punishing a first impression very easily. So not surprised Golisopod did not come. Although, it would have been a decent mon with how fast my team was. But both of my some of my fast mons just resist it. Even though it's probably gonna do a lot of damage, they still resist. So uh like I said, not surprised it didn't come. So start off the match. We lead Pharaoh. I thought Pharaoh was a good lead into mainly let me go. We go first turn here. I thought Pharaoh was going to be a good lead into mainly. Well, never mind. I can't pause it correctly. I thought Pharaoh was going to be a good lead into Deoxys Speed, just because Deoxys Speed would have to run like Fire Punch to be able to KO us, and I don't even think that Oko's depending on this like the spread. Um, but it gave us a chance to like knock it off, gyro ball it, just limit its potential basically, because the chances of Deoxys being outright Okos were pretty low. He leads Togekiss. Cool. I don't want to eat a flamethrower. Very possible. Well, I don't want to get flamethrowered. I don't want to get Thunder Wave. I don't want to get air slashed. So I decided to switch, and I don't know why I did this. This was the dumbest thing ever. Basically turn one, I switched into Coco and I burned my electric seed. That was a huge misplayed by me. Like I said, I was just, Coco was kind of was a great check to Togekiss, kind of because you resist air slash, you can't be paralyzed. And I see this is a very, very offensive Togekiss by that damage, but I decided to go back into Ferrothorn here. Um, really and truthfully, kind of part of a read with the Iron Treads coming in because I knew that's a great check to Coco, but also wanted to kind of limit the amount of damage I did. Didn't want to put Florges. Florges is always my switch in there, 100% though. Um, so Togekiss switches out. We try to get the knockoff. We see that this thing is booster, so it's booster speed, which makes sense. Iron Treads was actually really good into my team because of that. Um, being able to booster speed off my electric terrain and hold an item. Um, likely though, it isn't. Either I can knock off the booster energy so it can't booster energy later, or I just discover what the item was. Either way, we neutralize the Pokemon. Get rid of heavy duty boots here. Now we make the switch into Florges, which we should have always done. Tread switches out. I just clicked Moonblast here, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and this was good because this was wearing down Treads. Treads meant Coco could sleep. Even though I've lost my electric seed now, I don't need the extra boost for like Venusaur, for example. So the electric seed it's less useful. I will say this, it is less useful without Venusaur because electric seed gave me that extra stat raise that would give stored power. I think it's 120 base power after 2 Calm Minds that allowed me to KO Venusaur. I don't need that. So basically, the defense raise is still nice. It makes sense, right? It's still good to resist an attack, um, and get a little, have a slightly stronger stored power, especially for something like this. Stored power after a certain amount of boost is going to hit Great Tusk harder than Dazzling Gleam will. But Dazzling Gleam hits, most of my opponent's team pretty hard. Togekiss obviously not having electric move sucks for it, but like I don't need that 20 as much as I did when I was running my calcs. But I do get some chip here, which is nice. Don't know if Steel Move is coming. Don't want to risk it. We switch in. We eat the knockoff, unfortunately, and we lose our leftovers. But we do get more chip, which is good. We gyro ball here. That was just a good read by me. I didn't think the thing was going to stay in. I didn't want to risk eating a body press. And gyro ball hits, a lot of my opponent's team really hard. Um, we do switch here though on the flamethrower. So flamethrower is revealed. We synthesis up. We find out that we're faster. That this is min speed Togekiss, by the way. With that synthesis, we see the roost here. Cool. So it's like roost, maybe 3 attacks. No Thunder Wave yet, which was surprising. Click Moonblast. We get a crit. Little unfortunate. It's not the end of the world. I think we still like 3-hit KO'd without that. I'm pretty sure. But once again, more chip. We see the read, the double onto the Togekiss, which is a great play by my opponent. Flamethrower comes out again. We don't have to worry about getting burned because we are Covert Cloak. Get another Moonblast. Air Slash crit. So I guess, we got some payback. I Psychic Noise here because I 100% expected him to roost, and I know I'm faster, so I can always synthesis. So I synthesis this turn. We kind of keep Togekiss low. Deoxys Speed comes out as a double into Ferrothorn. We see the spikes come up. It's unfortunate. We knock off and see this thing is Cobra Berry. Pretty interesting. And we do see the Focus Blast right there. I think this was maybe a potential counter to Gambit. Focus Blast does miss. I don't know how much that does. I don't think it KOs. Um, because we are max. We also see that this Deoxys is probably either A, really bulky and not is probably really bulky and doesn't have a lot of speed because Gyro only did 49%. Another focus miss. Obviously, if he lands both of those, it's probably a different game. Like one miss is kind of acceptable. Two misses is like, that's jacked up. Um, but anyways, sorry, Urshifu comes out, big threat to Ferrothorn. Obviously, fighting move incoming. We do see the poison jab on a prediction, which is fair. Two fairy types, obviously. Will we go into our check? And I think a defog this turn. Yep, I do a chance to get the defog. I don't want the spikes to just kind of limit Gallade, Ferrothorn even now, especially now that it doesn't have leftovers. I don't have boots on any of my mons, so I'm trying to just limit that chip damage. I go out to my Florges. I'm spending a lot of special attacks with Florges though because I have synthesis. Um, and also I offensively threaten cure him a lot with the Moonblast. And also I don't have to worry about getting frozen. Covert Cloak. Moonblast once more. Get the damage on treads. Once again, not trying to risk like Iron Head or something. So I go Ferrothorn. We actually eat Earthquake up really, really well. And I decided to get spikes up here. I figured that if he's going to try to stay in and kill um, Ferrothorn, I'm just going to get my spikes up. And if he spins, he can't. Also, that's another thing too. He can't spin on me because if he spins, he takes Iron Barbs and he dies. So I spike there. Leech Seed here to get a little bit of recovery because the Raikou doesn't touch me. I knew that Aura Spear was a possibility, but I figured, I was kind of making the sack play. All right, cool. If he kills Pharaoh here, I can get in another Mon. Like I can get in, Dragapult or something to set up. I can get in Coco and try to Calm Mind. We'll see. We knock off here into the Togue. It roosts. I'm pretty sure I gyro ball in this play. Yep. Once you can't let it recover in front of me. Obviously, I fear flamethrower, but at this point, Ferrothorn has gotten a spike up. It has, worn down Deoxys, um, and it's just been a kind of a general nuisance. If I can keep Togekiss low, so I can break it. Yep, we force out the flamethrower, and now we go Coco, and I go Coco here, and I'm not 100% sure what the correct play is, kind of in hindsight. Part of me thinks Pult and get up my screens, force it out, get up screens. But I decided to go Coco here to Calm Mind. And now this is unfortunate because I just talked about trying to keep my opponent low. We see the kind of the desperation roost on a potential sack. Now, of course, this doesn't really matter for me in the potential that like Coco kicks to now beat Coco because I'm boosting on it. And he obviously still fears electric move. But I decided that this thing can't touch me. It can't flinch me. It's not faster than me. It can't paralyze me. So I can boost up in its face essentially. And then we do see the tread sack while we get another combine. And so treads is down. Is going to die anyways because he can't clear hazards without it. I don't pretty sure Togekiss doesn't have the defog, if I had to guess. But the interesting thing is that this does give us some scouting chance because we do see the Urshifu come out, and now it could be potentially Scarf. And at this point, I'm pretty sure it's Scarf. So I go into my Gligar on the potential Poison Jab. We see that this is a Boots Curum. We U-turn out, get in our Florges. Once again, can't really be touched by it. We also see that this is Boots Raikou. And at this point, I actually determined that this was a pressure. Having three mons that have pressure, obviously, Curum and Deoxys. Pretty sure their only abilities are pressure, but no Electric Absorb on the Raikou. It tells me that he intentionally bought triple pressure mons to pressure out my team. I have a very defensive draft. I play very defensively in a lot of my teams. Even this setup is very defensively, even though it's kind of a screens team. And I think his strategy was to sort of pressure stall out a lot of my bulky mons. So he's kind of pivoting around into them. Obviously, you don't want to eat a Moonblast there. Do you see the Shadow Ball come out? We Synthesis because we obviously don't care. We're also immune to the special defense drops. So Moonblast once more, get the special attack drop. Cool, the spawn can't do anything. Then it reveals that he's Rest, which is very interesting. Um, I do Psychic Noise here. I think the Psychic Noise was to catch. I actually don't know why Psychic Noise. I guess it was just damage and to catch. Oh, I'm pretty sure I Psychic Noise up for Togekiss, but I'm faster than Togekiss. I'm not actually sure why I Psychic Noise there. Didn't really matter because he rested that turn anyways, and he's faster. So I see the rest, and I take that as my opportunity to go into Dragapult. He does have Shadow Ball, but it is dropped, so he can't kill us with it. He's not Specs or anything, obviously. So I can go into our Dragapult and try to get up our screens. Um, he sleep talks rest. I get up light screen, and then he sleep talks and he gets his volt switch. This is very unfortunate that he got the volt switch because it does give him free Urshifu now. Um, I decided to go Gligar, and you see Wicked Blow only does 33%, so I can roost that off. Obviously, and the cool thing is Wicked Blow only has 8 PP, so I can stall out. I can even if he does Wicked Blow again, I'm stalling out his PP. So I roost on the Curum coming in. Time to go back into Florges. Doesn't take any damage from Freeze Dry, especially with the screens up. Unfortunately, I can't knock off their boots either, which sucks. That would be really great to kind of limit them. I go Coco again, trying to set up. We rest on the electric. This was accidental. Great play by me, but it was accidental. If anything, allowing him to rest would have actually been better because it would have given me more free turns. But I Dazzling Gleam here because I know he's going to Volt Switch out and go into Urshifu. And it's taking more spike chip, which is really good. That's kind of how the plan is. We see the Curum double into the Gligar, but that doesn't do anything because my Florges kind of always beats this Curum, especially because it can't get frozen. It can really only get crit, but it can't get frozen, so he just synthesis it off. Obviously, pressure stalling out my synthesis is kind of cool, but that's a 1v1 you don't win because Florges just hits too hard. I Moonblast here and I get the special attack drop, which is actually really good on the Togekiss because it allows me to outstall it. I Psychic Noise this turn, so it can't roost. He doesn't try to roost, that's fine. And I just Moonblast to finish off the Togekiss. So Togekiss is gone, and Raikou comes out. Obviously, doesn't matter about spikes because it's boots. I see the Volt Switch here instead of the rest. I not 100% sure why. I think he had a good chance to rest. I don't know if he tried to predict the Coco switch again. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was literally just like, all right, cool. I'm going to click. I'm pretty sure I clicked Moonblast here. No, I synthesized. Okay, cool. Synthesis, which is kind of what I was supposed to do. Once again, don't care about freezes because I have the Cobra Cloak. Moonblast does too much. I don't remember if he roosted before. No, he didn't. So I didn't predict the roost because I didn't know he had it. It kind of makes sense he has it. But I Psychic Noise here, so he can't roost. And then I'm pretty sure I finished this off with Moonblast right here. Yep, there we go. So Florges kind of putting in a lot of work. Urshifu comes out. I don't want to make any crazy plays. I just get Wicked Blow to pivot in my Gligar. Gligar basically is in a situation where it can win. Could have also went Coco and won from this position as well. Gave it a few more kills, pushed the Coco MVP race, and has actually been quiet since his first couple weeks. Coco had a great start to the season. It's been quiet since then. Or yeah, been pretty quiet. But I decided to go play the safe route here and go into my Gligar because I know Wicked Blow can only do so much damage to me. You see the roll right there, 29% right there. Earthquake it again, finish it off. There's nothing that Raikou can do. It doesn't have Scald. I know all four of its moves, so Click Shadow Ball does nothing. Earthquake finish it off. Gligar gets some kills, and we win the match. And my screens team did not come out to be very screens like. Did not play offensively. I set up screens once. Dragapult hit the field. I think once. Set up those screens. That was it. Didn't do anything. I still played defensively, and I think it was because my opponent tried to play defensively with me. They went Scarf or Shifu to revenge kill. They ran, like I said, no speed Togekiss. They ran Sleep Talk on Raikou. They ran Rest on Kyurem. It looks like they had a more supporty Deoxys, and then I don't know what their full set on their treads was. I don't even know if it was max attack based on the earthquake damage to Ferrothorn. I don't know. Not entirely sure, but they ran a very bulky team to try to counter my bulkiness, pressure stall me out. That's just not going to work with my team, especially because I did have the screens in the back. Once I set up those screens, and especially like Urshifu was really their only threat that I was like, oh shoot, like because it can crit through reflect. Well, if I can stall your wicked blows or have them on that's full health, then I don't care about your wicked blow. So unfortunate, I guess, kind of planning for my opponent. 13th guy's obviously a great player. I've had the pleasure of playing against him, or say pleasure, but yeah, joy, whatever you want to call it, of honor of playing against him in a few seasons here and there. This season, obviously, and a few other draft leagues and draft events that I've done, both in my draft league and other leagues. So he's a great player, great guy, and I think he had a really scary team. He'll definitely be in the playoffs. I think he just kind of had like the wrong approach to team building against my team, trying to fight bulk with fire with fire, essentially bulk with bulk, and I don't think it worked out that way for him, unfortunately. But I'm excited to see what maybe he'll do this season. Maybe I'll get a rematch him in the playoffs, and we'll see how that goes. But either way, guys, thank you for checking out my video. Week 5 wrapped up. Week 6 is coming probably within the next week or so. I've been kind of struggling to I've been busy, which is part of the problem, but also just haven't had the motivation to create YouTube content, which is weird because I used to really like making my YouTube content, and I don't know what the cause is. It just feels like a chore, and it's kind of unfortunate because that's why I take my hiatuses where I don't really upload anything, and so I'm not sure. I think I want to try to do. I think if I do different YouTube content, it'll feel good. It's not that I don't like my draft league. I love my draft league. I love playing draft. I love owning a draft league. But I think if I made content that wasn't just draft reviews, I think I would like it more. So I think we'll try to see. I have some ideas. Um, there's a lot of stuff going on with Pokemon right now because of champions. I'm not probably going to play champions, like the actual champions. I'm not a VGC person either, so it's not attractive to me in any way whatsoever at the moment. But with that being said, there's champion stuff on Showdown. There's the Pokemon 30th anniversary is going on right now, so there's stuff like that. I thought about doing like a Generations Showdown team where I like make a team for every generation and play with them on the ladder. That would be really cool to do. We'll see. Um, but I'm not 100% sure. But I figured I'd just let you guys know um, kind of the delays and why I'm not putting out as much content as I usually do. I used to record like 3 videos a week. Now I just record one like every 2 weeks or so, week and a half basically. So we'll figure that out though. Um, see what that can do. I do have a lot more free time on my hand than I did before, so that's good. Um, but until the next video, I'll see you guys later, and y'all have a good rest of y'all's day.